I'm gonna call the Air Force. So do my due diligence. You gotta go to recruiting office. That's what they say do. You gotta go to recruiting office. You gotta show up. Hey, how you doing, man? I'm signing my life away. So I look up Air Force recruiting office. Drove there. Guess what? They closed. Go there again. They closed. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm tired of driving over there because it's around the corner where I stayed at. So I'm like, let me just call. No answer. No answer. No answer. So another day passed. So I'm like, know what? Let me just call the actual Air Force website. Let's see where we go with that. So I call. First time I call, it was like, hey, how you doing? Air Force, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, man, my name is Bryce. I'm interested in joining the Air Force as an officer. Make sure you include officer, and make sure you say that, though. And just kind of get an idea on what's the process. Cool. So they asked me my demographic. I was like, yeah, man, I'm 6, blah, blah, blah. I weigh this amount. It was like, you weigh this amount? Oh, unfortunately, you don't qualify. You kind of exceed the weight height requirement. Sorry, you may not be, you ain't gonna be able to go in at this time. Sorry, unfortunately. I'm like, the fuck? Damn, that was quick. Shit. So the next day I called. I was 220 at the time, so I was a big dude. But I wasn't fat enough, I was just big. But they only see weight and stuff. So next day I called. I was like, how you doing? My name is Bryce. I'm trying to join the officer, blah, blah, blah. They asked me the same question, the demographic. I'm like, okay, this is a trick question now. This is like for real. So they asked my demographic. I was like, my weight, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, I'm like 205. I'm 205 now. I'm 205, whatever. So they let me go on that one. Then they asked me what my degree was. Because I said, because to be an officer, you got to have a degree or whatever. So I was like, my degree, yeah, it's marketing and psychology. I ain't think nothing of it. Like, that's a solid degree. Not the best, but it's good enough. You know what I'm saying? It's good enough. Unfortunately, we're not looking for a marketing degree. There's no positions for this, blah, 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 blah. We're looking for people that have these degrees, finance, law, some science stuff, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, come again. So guess what I did? I came again. Pause. I called the next day. I was like, I'm gonna see they BSing me now, cause I'm feeling like I'm being BS right now. I don't know why, but I feel like my spidey senses is tingling. So I called that next day, and I say, hey, this is my demographic. I was like, what's your degree in? I was like, my degree is law. I'm on my Suits vibe right now, man. I'm on my Lincoln lawyer vibe right now. I'm a lawyer now. I'm studying law, blah, blah, blah. I'm about to practice law, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking I'm about to be good, right? Unfortunately, this degree is not good. We don't have any availability for these officers, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, God, I'm done. Forget the Air Force. I don't want to do this. It ain't meant to be. Right? That's what it sounds like to me, right? It ain't meant to be. They give me the runaround. So, months passed. My mom, we was talking. My mom had called me or whatever. She had me like, hey, what's up with you doing the Air Force stuff? I was like, man, they kind of give me the runaround. I ain't give her the full gist, but I like, man, they give me the BS right now. I don't know. Like, I call, they tell me one thing. I call again, they tell me something different. So, my mom, she ended up going like to Facebook or some market, whatever, and got enrolled into like one of them groups or whatever, like Air Force groups. So she got tapped in with a recruiter. So she said, hey, man, I got a recruiter that can get you right, blah, 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 pretty much in the gist. So I told him he can call me, yeah, whatever. So he calls me. So I think, if I remember his name was like Gonzalez or something. His name was like Gonzalez or whatever. So he calls me, and he was like, hey, tell me a quick rundown of like the situation, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, man, I'm blah, 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 trying to be an officer, blah, 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 all that great stuff. He's like, what's your degree? I was like, marketing and psychology. I was thinking about lying, but I was like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, marketing and psychology. So he is a quick little brief little pause. He was like, let me check the system real quick. So it goes in the system, probably like 5 minutes pass. He was like, unfortunately, they don't have any marketing roles available for any, if you want to be an officer as far as an Air Force. However, since you said psychology, right? They do have MSc available that you're eligible for. You can do MSc. I was like, what's MSc? He was like, yeah, medical service course. I'm like, what the hell is medical service course? What the hell is that? He's like, yeah, you pretty much be working in a hospital. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I guess, whatever. Not something I really want to do, but I'm like, all right, whatever. Whatever I get my foot in the door, let's do it. So, I was like, what's the requirements? He was like, pretty simple. He's like, these are the requirements, because he's like, you got to be this, 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 this. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm about to do the I just bought this book. The I think it's called ACQT, or maybe I might say it wrong, but whatever. Because I was like, I know y'all do the ASVAB, y'all do the ACQT, whatever it's called, whatever test y'all that everyone people take. I got the book. He was like, nah, you don't need to do that with MSC. You just gotta have a good GRE score. I'm like, GRE? Oh, I took a GRE. Oh, I'm straight. He was like, yeah. If you don't know what GRE is pretty much a grad school standardized test, kind of similar to like the GMAT for if you want to go to business school, if you want to go to an MCAT for medical, if you want to do the LSAT for law. GRE is like the universal for everybody, all the schools. So you take that, you that's pretty much the set standard, like really the standardized test for it. So yeah, I already took the GRE because I'm already thinking about going to grad school already. Cool. He's like, all right, cool. Send me your scores, and then we can see if we can work some out and try to get your process in already. I'm like, all right, cool. So I got it. So the middle score was a 300. I got a 302. 302. So I'm like, I'm good. I don't gotta worry about nothing. So he calls me back the next day or whatever. He was like, I got some good news, I got some bad news. He said, yes, I got your score, everything looks good. Unfortunately, you don't meet the requirement. You kind of fall below it. You at a 298. I'm like, nah, how you get 298? It's a 302. He was like, unfortunately, they only take 2 out of your 3 scores. So it's 3 parts of your scores. It's pretty much English, math, and writing. Combine all 3, I'm a 302. You take away the writing, I'm at a 298. So it's like you kind of fall below the requirement. I'm like, bro, 2 points, bro. Like, I'm like, man, y'all there's no way y'all can't use a writing score. He's like, unfortunately, that's how I kind of go. So it was like, is any way to work around it? He's like, not at the current moment, but I'll try to figure something out, whatever. And I'm also applying for grad programs as well too. I told him I'm applying for grad schools right now, so we'll kind of work something out. Like, see, I'll just follow up with you a little later. So I think a month passed. I got accepted into in the grad school. I got accepted. So I called him again. Like, hey man, I got accepted into grad school. Let me tell you this. What if I have good GPA in grad school? Would that be any way to work around that? He was like, let me see. Let me go. Let me ask real quick. He was like, yeah. Give me your first semester grades, and then if it's passing, I can get a waiver and get you through. You don't gotta worry about taking the GRE again. Cause I'm not taking the GRE again. That was tough when I try to take it. I don't do good at standardized tests. I'm not taking that again. No matter, even though I was 2 points off, I'm not taking that again. Cause I'm months removed from taking the GRE. So all that stuff is not like in my head no more. And that was a lot to process. I'm not doing that again. That's over with. So my school started in January 30th. I remember January 30th. Imagine a semester. Remember, a semester is like 3 or 4 months. And remember what he said. When you are finished, send me the grade so I can get the waiver. Right? Remember this notion. So, it gets January. I passed my first semester classes. I'm feeling real good, right? So I reach out to him like, hey, I just finished my first semester. Blase. I'ma send you my transcripts so we can get this process rolling. He was like, hey, congratulations. I'm happy that you got through. Good news and bad news. Good news, I'm happy you got it done. The bad news is I retire next month. What the man? So he retired like in May. He gonna retire in May, so I got a month. So he's like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pass me your information. I'm gonna give it to the next recruiter so he can get you squared away or whatever. I bet. So I send him all my information that he needed, whatever. Like the little basic stuff. That's the basic MSC requirements. Send him all that, whatever, right? So a month passes May. So I reach out because and also too, it has his recruiting office number is the same as the Gonzalez guy. So they have the same like office number. So I called. It didn't fully switch out. It's still saying Gonzalez or whatever. So I called another number that was kind of rooted to it. I guess Gonzalez had another number on there. So I called that number. And then I spoke to someone. It was like, yeah, man. I'm trying to. Gonzalez said he was gonna be transferred. He was retiring, and they got another person coming in, blah blah blah. I'm trying to get in contact with him. He's like, yeah, man, the guy hasn't came in yet officially. We still changing stuff up logistically. We'll follow up with you when that change actually occurs. All right, cool. Side note: when he would say that, do not believe them. Trust me, never works. So, couple months later, I call. Gonzalez's phone is no longer on there anymore. It's the guy that's actually the new recruiter. Okay, great. So I call again. I left a voicemail. It has his number, his actual personal number on there, and also his email address. So I texted because the other number, that's the office number, you can text on there. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's like, no, blah blah blah. And then I called the other number that he had, left voicemail, no answer. I left him email, no response. Nothing, right? So months go by, no answer. Like, that's probably like 3 months that passed, no answer, right? No answer. So I ended up said, forget it again. I ain't about to even go by it. So it's not meant to be again. So oddly enough, my mom asked me again, hey, what's up with the process? He was like, man, I don't know, man. Like, they said they was switching people over, blah blah blah. I haven't got no message back, blah 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 blah. So I was like, yeah, man, just keep trying. I mean, it's worth going in. Have you tried going into, like, looking at the Navy stuff? I'm like, man, I heard some crazy things about the Navy. I'm like, I don't want to do that. He's like, go test out the Navy, ask around about, like, other branches and see if they catch your interest. I'm like, all right, so this is me going to the Navy. So I call the Navy. I show up. Well, I show up kind of late, though. I'm not going to lie. They didn't have no roles. They didn't have, really, honestly, they didn't have any good position that I wanted to do. And it had like welfare officer, not welfare, like war fighting officer. I don't want to do that. So I end up not doing that. So I got right back in. So I'm back in like military mode. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me follow up with the Air Force guy again. So I call, no reply. So I called the Air Force, actually the Air Force, the office the Air Force webpage, same thing I did when I first started. I'm like, hey, man, I've been trying to get in touch with this guy for months. I still haven't, I texted, called, emailed, no response. They asked me simply, hey, do you want to do a complaint? I was like, yes, put a complaint in because I'm trying to get this process going. So, not even 24 hours, not even 2 days later, he messaged me. I had like three messages sent to him, no response, within like, they're like months apart from each other. Like, hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, nothing. He said, hey, you interested in joining the, sorry, he's like, sorry for not getting back with you, blah, blah, blah. Super busy, cap, whatever. So he was interested in joining. Have you done this webinar already? I'm like, what webinar? He was like, yeah, you're supposed to do a webinar, whatever. He texted me this, like, supposed to do a webinar. They do it every Tuesday and Thursday or something like that at this time and that time. So you got to do that. And then once you finish that, then come holler at me, basically. So I think 2 weeks later, I ended up doing the webinar, watching that. So the webinar was pretty much just like a overview of like the Air Force, and this is overall gist of it. It was like, we get 2,000 applicants weekly, or whatever he said. Come correct, or we're not gonna talk to you. Pretty much, and indirectly, they say that. So I'm like, yeah, people was saying that the Air Force is kind of bougie, but I didn't think they was acting like that. Like, damn. So I end up calling the guy again. I was like, hey, I messaged him again and say, hey, I just did the webinar, blah, 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 blah. And then, hey, what's the next steps right now? Like, all right, you guys got my paperwork from Gonzalez or whatever? No reply. I'm like, yeah, he with the BS right now. So I sent another complaint. Hey, man, like, I'm trying to get this done. Is someone I can talk to or whatever to get this process done? So he calls me again. Like a day later. No, not day later. It was 3 days later. It was like 3 days later. So he was like, he had a little attitude. He was like, hey, send me these documents. I need it within 48 hours. Bam. I need your COVID. I need this, and that. So I sent them my information. He was like, first he seen my weight on there. Oh, you overweight. You need to be at least under 190. You gotta be under 200 pounds. Bam. Try to eliminate me. 200 pounds. Also as well, too, I see your test scores. Your test scores don't meet qualification right now. Don't meet the standard right now. So he had a major attitude. Doesn't meet the standard. You got to have at least a 300 to get an MSc. I was like, I was like, I already spoke to Gonzalez. I already sent my transcript to him, so you need to see that. He was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Okay, cool, we'll waive that. So biggest thing, you need to lose weight, basically, and you need to send your COVID scores. It's when like the COVID stuff was starting to kind of hit, whatever. My COVID stuff. It's around like COVID time. So I end up taking care of that. I ain't do the COVID stuff yet, but he was like, upload it all in the document. Actually, no. Scratch that. Before that, I sent him the stuff, the recommendations, everything, like the paper and all that stuff. Got all that sent to him. He was like, all right, cool. Seeing like my scores or whatever. He said that, oh, okay, cool. I said, I got all your paperwork, so I'm not responsible. So he did all this just to say, I'm not responsible for the officers. I'm more dealing with the enlisted recruits. I'm gonna forward your information to the officer recruiter. I'm like, so he did all this just to send me off to somebody else, right? So the other guy contacts me because pretty much he sees I'm in good standing, basically. So he asks, hey, I need you to send all your information into this portal for me. Like, I need this, and this, and that. So I'm like, hey, just get it from the other guy. He one that got all my information. He was like, I don't know what he said something, but like, just send it all to me. I got to upload some other stuff, and I got to upload like, oh no, I know it was. I had to upload like my social security and all the other stuff. So I just upload everything. So I go to this portal, I input all my documents in there or whatever. It was weird because I couldn't submit the profile because it was at 98%. You only can submit at 100. But it was some documentation that I was missing, but it didn't tell me what I was missing to make me at 100% to submit my form off. I don't know what it is. It was something. I don't know what it was. So I messaged the guy, hey, check the system. Like, hey, I messaged him and said, hey, man, I can't submit. It won't let me submit. Like, I don't know what it is. It keeps saying 98%, but it won't let me submit. He's like, let me check and look. He's like, let me go look and see. He's like, I don't know. I don't know. You gotta pretty much figure it out. So I was like, yeah, it's something about this. It just doesn't seem right. Like it's like It's like something they don't want me to join or something. I don't know what it is, but it's some weird energy. So I end up saying, you know what? Let me just try the army stuff out real quick. So I call the army, like same number, the office website. I was like, hey, I want to join the army, be an officer, blah 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 blah. And everything I asked, they said they got it. So I have another story about my first recruiter story, and then I ended up getting settled with them. But by the time, like, that whole process was like 2 years to get that situated. When I had went to the army, I got processed and everything and went to MEPS within like 2 months of me from when I started talking to him and then by the time the guy, I remember the time I went to the board for to the OCS board for the army. This was like in May or whatever time it was, like May or April. 5 months had passed, right? The Air Force guy just hit me back up to see like what's going on. Hey, can you send me these documents? I need these documents. 5 months later, I was already done and signed up already with the Air Force, with the Army already. So, I mean, my personal experience with the Air Force wasn't the best. I wanted to do that one first. However, I didn't have the best experience. However, based on when I heard other people say they were trying to join the Air Force, most people don't even get a reply back. Like, they'll message them and they never reach out to them. He's like, you got that? Some people like, you got that far in the Air Force recruitment? I ain't even getting nowhere near that process. So I was like, damn. I thought like my process was a struggle, but I heard people got way harder, like harder situations that didn't even get where I got to. So I don't know how it is with the Air Force, how they recruit. I mean, maybe they be overly selective or they make things a little difficult to get you in. But I mean, I don't think it was necessary because whatever. But that was my experience of why I didn't join the Air Force. Not because I didn't want to do it. It's because they was giving me a lot of runaround. And I didn't really like that. Especially like they was letting that time drag on years. Because if I would have did the Army right away, I'd be probably like, what, 6 years in already, basically? Probably 5, 6 years in. I'll probably already be a captain already. You know what I'm saying? I'll already be a captain already. You know what I'm saying? Or about to be a captain at this point. So so time doesn't matter, but But overall, it did make me a better as far as making sure I got things kind of situated, like making sure I like get all my paperwork in order, be able to be a little bit more patient. Now I'm still not patient now, but be more patient and making sure like I kind of like just roll with the punches. Like I said, like if things sometimes are overly resistant, it's not always you should quit. It's probably just another way to navigate and find another alternative to get into a situation that's gonna be beneficial for you in the long run. Because I think the Army joining in, people say it's horrible. It's not. It's not that bad. But I mean, it does. It helps, to be honest. Especially if you're in a reserve component, it doesn't hurt. You know, it could be better, but it doesn't hurt. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys had any situations as far as your recruiting, hit the subscribe button, and I'm out. Gone.